Good evening. The July 22nd, 2020 meeting of the Long Branch City Council will now come to order. Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Here.
Dr. Vogt,
Here.
Mrs. Wittes,
Here.
Dr. Selly,
Here.
and Mr. Vieira.
Here. We will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
I hereby certify that this meeting has been published in the newspaper in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and posted as required by law.
Presentations, there are none. Reading of approval previous minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of July 8th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Dangler,
Yes.
Dr. Vogt,
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes,
Yes.
Dr. Selly,
Yes.
and Mr. Vieira.
Yes. Consideration of ordinance, public hearing, and final consideration. There's none. Ordinance for introduction, there's none. Public participation for resolutions and general comments. I need a motion to open the public portion of the meeting for all comments.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If any member of the public has any comments to make, please dial *9 on your phone, and a representative will call you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When you are called upon, state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once.
Caller whose phone number ends in 198. Go ahead.
Benson Lepore, 33 Ocean Terrace, Long Branch. 1 minute notification, please.
Yes, sir.
Broadway. Excuse me, I can't talk with the ringing in the background. Can you avoid the ringing and I want my time back? There's a loud ring going on right now while I'm speaking.
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Lepore.
I could care less if you hear me loud and clear. I'm hearing ringing. Madam Clerk, I request that I start again.
Okay.
I'm starting now. Thank you, Madam Clerk. On Broadway, I'm going to make a little quote from the media. Amid rumors, the Kushner companies might be dropping out of Lower Broadway redevelopment project. Mayor Pallone said another developer might be signing on, end quote. Broadway has become a musical chairs fiasco. The question people are asking now is, when does the music stop? There's a master plan review right now for public input. Multiple public input meetings throughout the community were to be scheduled. And on Broadway, it would be nice to have the people decide now that Kushner's coming out of it, what the people would want for Broadway. The high density projects are a thing of the past. We would like smaller scale tract development projects on a smaller basis. And the public would like to have input on that. And of course, now that Kushner's out, no 30-year tax abatement. And I repeat that again, no 30-year tax abatement. Real estate developers in New Jersey have a lot in common as poker players in Atlantic City casinos. They're always looking for the table with the weakest dealer, which is why they always seem to circle back to Long Branch, knowing that Long Branch will always have the most culpable of politicians, which leave the city residents as perpetual losers. Example, Broadway. Resolution 6620, Monmouth University. We know the agreement, the rental agreement, and the tax-exempt status of Monmouth University. We're watching. We know what you don't know, Council. You better have student verification for those rentals and student affiliation. I'm going to repeat. We know what you don't know. Congratulations to the activists at 1055 Ocean Avenue for taking back the beach that the city has a black eye on for allowing to stand there for quite some time under the arrest of the Jerome family. Again, the city got caught with a black eye. The activists groups, the watchdogs, you all deserve a pat on the back for this one. We've got other problems, though. We got to watch out for the city trying to do paid parking in Elberon. It's quite a loss to free public access beaches being charged after all these years. And we also have other problems along the coast in Long Branch. Infringements on high tide watermark passing by the Promenade Beach Club and Ocean Cove employing intimidating factors. We're on it. DEP's aware of it. We will be acting, Long Branch. Now to Mr. Jerome, 1055 Ocean Avenue, one of the highest assessed single-family homes in Long Branch. But even with an assessment of a little more than 15 mil, that valuation is woefully low. 13 years ago this month, in July 2007, the Jeromes paid just over $25 million for the vacant lot, putting down $5 million and borrowing $20 million from the Bank of America. It took 3 years to build a 15,000 square foot home. When they finally paid off and converted their $20 million land acquisition loan into a traditional permanent home loan in 2010, the mortgage commitment carried a contingency clause that required a minimum appraisal value of at least $16 million. So, counsel, the question being, how is it that after purchasing a vacant lot 13 years ago in 2007
Mr.
for
LaPointe, you have
$25
1 minute.
million, spending untold millions building out that property over the following 3 years, how in 2020 can this property have a stated assessed value of only $15 million? The point being, here in Long Branch, if your home is valued at under $1 million, you will probably be fully assessed. But once your value starts climbing upwards over that $1 million mark, that gap between your home assessment and home's market value starts to drastically widen. So much so that by the time you reach the very top of the residential market here in Long Branch, with a property such as Jerome's, the gap between assessed value and market values rise to as great as 100% of the stated assessment. An accurate appraisal of 1055 Ocean Avenue would show market value $30 million. Again, twice the existing assessment. So the assessment methodology required for your home's assessment correlates to current real estate market pricing than any divergence of a home's assessment.
Thank
from
you,
true
Mr.
value.
LaPointe, for your comments, sir.
Especially at the top of the Long Branch real estate market, places
Caller whose phone number ends in 070. Go ahead.
Hello, this is Jonathan Durkin with Beach Bike Boys over on 23 Emmons Street. I have some good news to share with the council regarding getting a bike share for Long Branch. We've been able to team up with Colony Bikes. We're working with Fred Brody, their business development manager here in Long Branch, and they've agreed to let us be the operator for their regional bike share pilot program. What that means is that they will give us 100 bikes to begin a pilot bike share program based out of our headquarters over on Emmons Street. My company, Beach Bike Boys, will handle maintenance, moving, and marketing of the bikes. I'd sent in an earlier proposal that had previously required a lot more of the town on the city's end. But now, with this partnership, we'll be able to do what we proposed at no cost to the city of Long Branch. Ready to pull the trigger and be interested to hear any input from the mayor and his councilor as we begin the pilot program. The turnaround time on the bikes is about 1 week. They're equipped with the GPS smart locks that are unlocked through a phone app. And now that we have 100 bikes to work with, I'll need additional stations and would like to utilize Long Branch's existing bike infrastructure if possible. Is there any permits, or would just, the blessing of the council be enough in order to do that? Colony has experience deploying thousands of smart bikes across the country. Every place is a little different, but with the support from the mayor and his council, there's no problem we wouldn't be able to solve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 449. Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Michael Alfano. I live at 476 Narragansett Avenue. I live right near Manhasset Creek Park. There recently, the entrance was added. My property, the corner of my property is based across the street from the corner of Manhasset Creek Park. I sent an email to the Recreation Department and Public Works. I haven't heard anything back in terms of how this entrance was added. My understanding was there was not an entrance on Narragansett Ave since there is no parking for the park. The parking for the park is all off of Long Branch Avenue. So my question to the council is, nobody in the neighborhood received notification that it was being considered to add an entrance to the park off of Narragansett Avenue. And I'm surprised by that. And we're also concerned about the impact on safety, traffic, parking. So I want to know what studies were done or what evaluation was done and why this is happening now when there never was an entrance there off of Narragansett Avenue to the park. In fact, a 12-foot fence was put up in order to stop people from jumping the fence and entering the park. And I don't understand why this entrance is now added to the park, especially without an opportunity to hear questions, concerns from the neighborhood.
John, do we have any-
George, do you want to comment on that? Sir, you're talking about the new entrance that was built where there's a concrete path there?
The concrete path was also added. That's also new.
No, but I'm saying we're talking about that entrance right there. Is that the entrance we're talking about?
Off of the new entrance off of Narragansett Ave, right by the corner of the park.
Yeah, George, do you remember, or Lou, do you know what we're talking about here?
Well, I think I know where we're talking about, right? Yes, Mayor.
That, Mayor, when we got wind of that, quite frankly, none of us knew who had authorized it. We sent our public works people out, and Mike, I think someone might have talked to you about it. And what we discovered was this was work that had been approved previously. I'm going to think somewhere in early 18 or late 17 by the city. There was a resurfacing project that took place in the park. And this was work that was done through a former engineering service, D.W. Smith. And it was work that hadn't been completed. And that's why they had gone ahead. We were unaware they were at the final stages when it was brought to our attention. This was from a prior administration.
Can I interject?
Sure. I'm sorry.
All right.
Council President, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lou.
I spoke to Stan this morning about it, and we're going to put a lock on that gate for the time being, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah,
So
Mike?
Okay,
there'll be no access from that area until they decide what they want to do.
okay. So I just want to express the concern is, a concern around parking. And I don't know if you're aware, but more and more the park has hosted large tournaments, which actually is great. It's great to see that park used. It's an awesome park. One of my concerns is as they do these big tournaments, that there be more consideration for traffic control. Like, I don't know if that means a police presence or some way to make sure that there is some control over traffic. I understand parkings can be all over the place, understood. Just concerned that there be some traffic control, somebody out there perhaps, helping with the traffic.
Okay, Michael, we'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 350. Go ahead.
Ernest McNulty, born in Long Branch, live in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I'm still interested in the, I believe it was $40,000 taxpayer-funded study on the Long Branch Police. I do some press work, and I'm very interested in that study. Can't understand why the city manager, Jackson, is handling Oprah's by saying it's intergovernmental information. So what I have to say to Mr. Jackson from Eatontown, a former police chief, and now a city manager here, this is just a cover-up. Give us that information, Mr. Jackson. There's just so long you could cover up for Mr. Roebuck and what's going on. That's the essence of it. You've come here, Mr. Jackson, as a cover-up artist. You've come here as someone who supposedly is supposed to be helping the mayor, when in the public, people I know sit with you, and words and comments that come out of your mouth, and that Martin, that CFO's mouth, and Roebuck's mouth, and everybody else's mouth. I wonder what this mayor is thinking when he's surrounded. He's like Caesar with the senators, and he does nothing about it. He hasn't cleaned up anything, Mayor. You leave these people, these firemen, Peter DeLisa, you're running over people on the beach, killing them with Guidetti. You're covering all this stuff up. You got lawsuits coming up the kazoo, right? You got Long Branch Police hand-raping police's daughters in a police promotion thing. And look at how Roebuck covered it up. He got him a taxi home, sent him to Florida, called the prosecutor, right? And worked it all out. And Joyce Jr. walks away again. What? To get $1 million contracts now out of Fort Monmouth and here and there. He's employing Pascucci, the murderer, right? What is wrong, Mayor? Mayor, there's a lot of people listening. You were elected to fix all this. And I don't want to comment because I don't think you have the nerve to comment, because that's why you skipped all the debates. You're not strong enough for this job, Mayor. You should move aside. And by the way Gramaccioni and Golden and Tom Arnone, the freeholders, Rizzuto, your captain, Roebuck, hey, you should see what they're doing with the Republicans to make sure you don't get 3 votes. And you just don't realize it. You're bringing a weak city council, that Ranone, and hey, Ranone, it's not personal, but you're the wrong guy for this job. You are WEAK, on arrival. I don't think you had a law firm for 4 years. You got here on a favor, and you're being pushed around like a ping pong ball. Now, going on at Tackanessee Lake and the back under the trestle. Mayor, you ran on this. It's worse than it ever was. This Zuba Duba, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Get him out of here. Get the guy in who should have had the job, the number 2 guy. Why does it seem? Because of the county. All the worst people from Long Branch get the best positions. Zuba, Freddie Migliaccio becomes the county fire marshal. He doesn't even know how to inspect a fire. How does it all happen? You know why, Mayor? Because Golden Gramaccioni, Golden wants to be governor, right? And he's racking havoc on you, your city, in Asbury, in Deal, in Allenhurst, in Lock Harbor, in Interlaken, in Spring Lake, in Monmouth Beach, in Atlantic Highlands. And you sit around talking about picnic tables and Easter eggs, right?
Mr.
And have your
Foley,
police.
1 minute, sir.
Thank you. My emails are still blocked by Roebuck. Some people have already sued the city over that. Mayor, I don't know why you don't release my emails. I'm trying to show you pictures of all those trespassing signs in the wrong place. They cordoned off a public beach. They were allowing kids, girls, young people to carry on White Claw, tequila pineapples, round the clock, with Macy's Day parades, setting up wet bars on the beach, right? And then they find out I'm there, and you ought to see the Facebook feed. You, that dirty, filthy cop killer, that guy that escaped from Marlboro's here. Look at him. He's eating out of the garbage now. Eating out of the garbage. I'm collecting evidence, Mayor, that while you're sitting home with those Easter eggs, I'm out doing your job. You know, get yourself in a command car, put on some fatigues, Mayor, and get out and see what's going on. See what
Thank you
Roebuck's
for
not
your
doing.
comments, Mr. McNolly.
Caller whose phone number ends in 700. Go ahead.
My name is Lynn Stippick. I live at 13 Arthur Avenue in Long Branch. Thank you for allowing me to speak. From today's and previous council meetings, it is apparent that in some cases there is a disconnect between the reality of living and visiting Long Branch and the perception presented of the city. Jim Taylor, PhD and professor of psychology at the University of San Francisco states there is a clear difference between perception and reality. In his article, Perception is Not Reality, in the August 2019 online version of Psychology Today, Taylor starts by quoting the dictionary, which defines perception as a mental image and reality as the state of actually existing. The professor points out that perception is the lens that people use to view a situation, and if used too often, that perception will become a person's reality. I would like to offer a few examples of the reality of living in Long Branch compared to my perception of living here. First, on the subject of communication, reality. Most forms of social media, apps, and alert systems are in use to communicate with citizens. Paper technology is also used for those who do not have access to technology. Go to longbranch.org and you will find the information that you need. You'll find the apps and the websites. My perception is that the increased communication since this administration took office has made it easier to find events, rules, news, and other information about the city, as well as highlighting city advances. In conjunction with the alert system, emergencies can be communicated swiftly. Shop Long Branch. Reality, it offers property tax credits or a check to everyone who shops the stores which support the effort. The evidence is the adjustment on my tax bill. My perception is that it works well most of the time, but additional publicity is needed to strengthen the usage and participation by businesses. There is a small bug in the rewards cards of national chains, which at times prevents information about transactions from being passed to Shop Long Branch and giving citizens credit. Drug deals on my street. Reality, drug deals are not happening as frequently on my street. Evidence, I witnessed 2 raids from my bedroom window. My perception, my street is safer, and I no longer stop gardening in my front yard to avoid witnessing a drug deal or angering clients who continually circled the block until I disappeared. Beach accessibility. Reality, Long Branch has the first fully accessible beach on the Jersey Shore, as per last year's article in the Link News. My perception, this helps people with the disabilities enjoy the beach, ocean, and make connections with volunteers who assist them. As a person with low vision, I know that sometimes I appreciate a little bit of help. Interactions with the city's citizens of Long Branch. Reality, in the past year, the City Council recognized the marching band for their wins, students for their work on the reducing plastics in the city, and revived the Holiday Light Contest. Last year, there were coffee with the mayor events, allowing people to speak directly with the mayor, sponsored activities for the children in various neighborhoods, and support of drug education through Long Branch years. They are evidenced by pictures and videos of the events. These are only a few of the many ways in which the City Council and Mayor have connected with our citizens. My perception, the bond between the citizens, school leaders, and the Mayor and Council continues to strengthen. I am concerned that people watching the videos of the City Council meetings may develop a skewed version of what it is like to live, work, or visit Long Branch. I want to encourage our residents and visitors to do their own research and explore the Friendly City for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Caller whose phone number ends in 053. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good evening. It's Alfred Norton. I live at 1001 Norwood Avenue, Long Branch. I wanted to just say a couple of things. In reference to a previous caller, I wasn't going to discuss this, but the home assessments versus value does ring a note with me, having looked at that for different reasons. So I certainly echo that previous caller's statement on assessment versus value. The major reason why I was calling was, though, to commend the mayor and council and whoever it was that recognized under a surge of COVID, under a tremendous heat wave, that the beaches were swamped, and to take appropriate remedy to that. I use the beaches at Cottage Avenue where I have a cabana, but I also walk down to the beach and ride a bike to the beach frequently down at in Elbron at Park and Ocean, and use that. And I was on that beach July 12th, and it was awful. It was just totally awful. No social distancing, and lifeguards were stationed there, and thank God for that. It was a huge surf. And commend Long Branch for charging, because I don't think there was another way to keep that in line. And I was at that beach again today, and it's great. So kudos for that. Kudos to the beach staff that man the kiosks at the locations. They're doing a great job. They do take some abuse, and I certainly think that the beach checkers, the badge checkers, the badge takers, people checking things brought on the beach are doing a swell job. So congratulations. It seems to be better, much better than it was a couple of weeks ago, and great job. One final point, and I think it's been addressed, is that there would be on occasion teenage bikers roaming up and down the boardwalk, doing things that teenagers do, recklessly driving their bikes. But one thing that really they shouldn't have been doing was putting their bikes down at crosswalks on Ocean Avenue, preventing people from walking around them or driving their bikes around them. And they're known to the beach checkers, the badge checkers. So I'm sure the police know who they are. I haven't seen them in 2 weeks. Maybe the problem has been rectified, but just want to point that out. And I thank you for your time, efforts, and stay cool and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Thank you, Mr. Norton. We appreciate your call.
Thank you, Mr. Norton.
Okay.
Caller whose phone number ends in 385. Go ahead.
Good evening. This is Laura Tarlow at 52 Baruch Drive. Questions concerning the Pleasure Bay pool. As of Monday, there were no records at the Planning Board Monmouth County Development Review Committee concerning the pool. When will those be filed with the county?
They will not. We don't require a county planning board approval for this project.
Fascinating. And so I take it from that, because Atlantic Avenue is a county road, then there are no planned changes for the county road, such as we being at one of the most northern points of Long Branch. The majority of citizens that will be using this complex will have to cross Atlantic Avenue. And therefore, because you haven't filed for anything, no new crosswalk will be established at 6th Avenue and Atlantic. You don't have any plans for changing and reversing the entrance and exit to the parking lot, which would be more logical to pick off kids. And you must not be planning to prohibit any truck from entering or exiting the reclamation center that will pass by the pool during the entrance during the operating hours. And so I find as we keep cautioning you who are perhaps unfamiliar with this quiet area, it will become quite dangerous for the children for who you want to build this park for.
Thank you, Laura.
No other callers, Council President.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to close the public portion of this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We can take the list of resolutions as a consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Dangler? Dr. Vogt?
Yes.
Mrs. Wittes?
Yes.
Dr. Selly? And Mr. Vieira?
Yes. Miscellaneous, business good for the order. Councilman Dangler.
Yes, good evening. Only thing I have is, this past weekend, there was a event over at Manahasset Park. And I would just like if someone, Mr. Jackson or Lou, could get a copy of the latest, and I know there are many of them, the latest governor's executive order in regards to these type of events, sporting events, how many people could be there, so on. Just for my own edification, please. And again, I do know there were many of them, and they seem to be changing every day, just so I would be able to know, and certainly the council would know what the latest update is on how many people could be at any event. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Vogt.
Thank you, Council President. Just a few things. First of all, a comment on Lynn, your comment, perception versus reality. You touched on a number of really important things that are of concern to all of us. So thank you very much for making your comment and pointing out the difference of perception and reality and how important those things are. Also a comment on Al Norton. I'm going to speak for myself, and I know I'm speaking for many people. Thank you for your recognition of the city's efforts in dealing with the beach situation. It is a challenge up and down the shore, and it's something that the administration spends a lot of time talking about, a lot of time planning, and as you noted, put a lot of controls into place. And the wonderful thing is that people actually, you could feel the difference, you could see the difference, and it just made life at the beach much more pleasurable for people. So again, thank you for recognizing that. I also want to pick up on your comment about bikes, and I want to do a shout out to the police. I wish I knew who the officers were, but we had a situation here where I live with kids on bikes and a little bit out of control, and some calls from the people in my building complaining about that. And the police were here in a very short period of time. And what was I think one of the best things about it was the way it was handled, in a way of dealing with the kids, not in an adversarial or confrontational way, but actually, working with them, talking with them, helping them to understand what they were doing was, at a minimum, very inconsiderate to a whole bunch of people in the area, and having them stop that behavior and move along. So my kudos to the police in the way they handled that situation. I also want to do a shout out to Jake Jones, who sponsored a program that started, actually, I think it was last October it started. It was called The Big Pitch. And it was Long Branch's version of Shark Tank. And there were about 20 candidates who said what their idea was that they wanted to develop. And those candidates were selected to participate in a 30-hour training program on entrepreneurship and writing business plans and developing your ideas. And the other day we attended their graduation, and 3 of the candidates presented their ideas. One, just phenomenal to see innovation in action, to see entrepreneurial dreams coming true, and to realize that all of this will be leading to jobs, jobs, jobs for people. So Jake, great job in terms of the support. We're fortunate in Long Branch that our COVID numbers seem to be under control, but there are a lot of signs, as we all know, a lot of signs of people experiencing stress. Whether it's with overdose numbers or any sort of mental health issues. Reach out to your neighbors, reach out to your friends, reach out to people who you know. A hello and a little bit of time to talk to someone might be helpful. Again, we'll get through all this if we stick together and help each other out. So thank you very much.
Councilwoman Wittes?
Hi, good evening. I'd just like to thank everyone for listening and your comments this evening. And I would like to give a special thank you to our DPW, Recreation, and all of our administration, and to our mayor, who worked so hard to help us get through these very challenging times. Every day seems to be a challenge, but every day we're working through it. And I'd like to thank the community for your patience and your support. And I hope everyone has a great next 2 weeks, and hope to listen, have you listen to us again, and enjoy the summer. Thank you.
Councilwoman Mary Jane Sally? Thank you.
First of all, Long Branch is a great city. We hear the comments, we hear the complaints, and tonight it was nice to hear some positive things that we've done in the city. I would also like to remind people about the testing on Saturday at City Hall. If you're interested, please show up. And with that, I'd like to say good night. God bless, stay safe, and wear your mask.
Mayor Pallone? Thank you, Mary Jane. Mayor Pallone?
Thank you, Council President. I'd also like to thank everybody for calling in today and for all of your comments. These, as the other council members have said, these really have been challenging times, and I want to thank, this is a real group effort on a part of the administration, the city council, and all the departments. So I just want to thank them. Like I said, it's very challenging and can be frustrating, but we're trying to get through this, and we will. So again, thank you for your patience, and stay safe. There are 3 things. Dr. Sully just referred to one of them. So we'll have 4 COVID-19 testing sites in the next couple of weeks. And as Dr. Sully pointed out, The first free COVID test starts July 25th. That's this Saturday at City Hall from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So anyone who wanted to get tested could just stop by at City Hall between 9 and 1. For more information regarding what's happening on Saturday, as well as the future dates and locations, again, please go to our website at longbranch.org. I also wanted to mention the library has contactless doorside pickup, which began on July 13th. I guess that was over a week ago at the library. Please call the library at 732-222-3900, extension 2210, with any questions. Simply, from what I understand, all you need to do is make a phone call, reserve your books, and then you'll be notified of a time or a pickup, or you would coordinate that. They will put the books out on a table outdoor, and you just come by and pick them up. So that's a very nice thing that the library is doing until they reopen again full time. And finally, I just wanted to say that our outside dining permits have been extended through October 31st, 2020. So obviously, please patronize our restaurants, but if you are a restaurant or a retail business as well, please go to our website to find out more information about getting a permit, or just more information in general. So with that, thank you. Have a great week, and see you soon.
Thank you, Mayor Pallone. And I would like to thank the callers for calling tonight. We had a lot of calls, and that means a lot to us. We feed on that. So keep calling. And as Mr. Nord mentioned, to the Public Works, he explained it all to us. Those public workers, Stan, Lou, they're doing a nice job on our beach, from the ticket taker to the guy picking up the garbage. They're doing a great job over there. And another note is I want to thank our mayor, John, because he gets a lot of calls. And what does he do? He gets in his car and he goes and looks at those calls, and he goes to every single one that he can petition. So we have a great mayor, and I got to thank John for that, because he doesn't stop. So thank you, John. And then another one is, let's support our local restaurants. As we just mentioned, outside dining, they need a little bit of help. So let's support our local restaurants while we're at it. And good night. With that, I'll need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.